quality tech, and these reprinted guns really do fire. Does anyone here, let me ask you, does anybody here have customers who don't speak English well or maybe at all? Anybody here have customers? How many of you think that there is a market to pick up new customers if language was not a barrier? How many of you think there's an opportunity there? How many of you have or would like to travel to countries that you don't speak the language? Anybody? Yeah. How many of you are fluent in more than one language right now? How many of you are fluent in more than 3 languages right now? Anybody? One person. Anybody fluent in more than 5 languages? How impressed would you be with someone who could communicate in 25 languages? I want you to meet Sigma. Talk and understand in more than 25 languages. It's a voice translating device you wear like a necklace or attached to your belt. It's going to revolutionize the way you're able to communicate and understand other languages. How many of you would be interested in such a product? How many of you would be willing to pay $500 for such a product? How many of you would be willing to pay $1,000 for such a product? I want you to think of a number in your head what you'd be willing to pay, because this is going to be available later this year for a cost of around $50. The game is changing. Are you starting to understand why I'm so excited? You may have heard that IBM has a supercomputer called Watson that competed on Jeopardy and he won. How many of you remember hearing something about that? Well, IBM just committed $1 billion to further develop Watson, which is artificial intelligence. It currently has 200 million pages of content and just gets smarter and smarter every day as more research and data gets published. Watson's successful diagnosis rate for lung cancer is now 90%, 90 compared to 50% for human doctors. Watson is now available in the cloud, and its utilization for medical diagnostics is being widely expanded. It's going to change healthcare. Imagine having a computer hooked up to the web that a patient can input their symptoms and data from sensors and get a diagnosis. I mean, what's the impact is that going to have on healthcare? Shotgun therapy will certainly be dramatically reduced. This is what's happening right now, not someday in the future. Wouldn't it be wild if your patients could come to your website, ask you questions and get answers 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? Wouldn't that be wild? They wouldn't know that they're really talking to a supercomputer. How many of you would possibly have interest in upgrading your websites with this technology if and when it becomes available? Check out nextit.com. Companies from all different industries have already gotten on board with it. It already exists. I mean, you may have already interacted with a supercomputer yourself online and didn't know it. There's a movie in the theaters right now called Her. Has anyone seen it yet? Okay. The technology is real, and it'll change our industry for the better. What we're seeing is that the world economy is going to be changing as technology dematerializes and demonetizes things, and the currency of the future really is going to be creativity. It's the sharing of ideas. And each of you is going to be a source for the creation of abundance. This is what is at the core of the PDS community, creativity and sharing. And that's why as PDS gets bigger, it gets smarter, not because of me, but because contributions from people make programs and ideas expand and get better and better. And you're going to see an example of that this weekend. So my hope is the realization for all of us that we're heading into a world of abundance, that in this world it is possible to create extraordinary wealth at the same time that we transform this industry. And in fact, the two go hand in hand. This is why I'm so excited about the future of independent pharmacy. A great time to be able to play big. I have some goals for this conference. The first goal is that you leave here on Saturday as excited about the future as excited as I am. My second goal is that what you are learning here is actually actionable. I have no interest in deluging you and having you walk away like, oh my goodness, I think I'm excited. No, that's not the goal. A lot of the content you'll be hearing about over the next few days is going to be parsed out and blown out over the next 12 months. So you don't have to learn any of this right now. Your goal is to find something from any one of the speakers that gets you excited. Whether it be technology, leadership, innovative ideas, finance, or something you learn from another attendee. What matters is what gets you excited. My goal, as I said, is that you leave here with one or two wildly important goals. And then over the next 12 months, we'll actually be teaching it in greater detail so that you can, in fact, apply it. And again, my goal is that you can actually apply this stuff. It means nothing if you're like shock and awe and then you don't use it. So that's the most important thing. Now, I can't stand before you and speak a change if PDS itself wasn't willing to change. And we've made some big changes in 2014. You're going to hear a lot more about lead, innovate, and connect over the next few days. And I look forward to telling you more about it tomorrow. Finally, JFK said in his speech that there are those that would have us wait and to rest. But this country wasn't built by those who rested, waited, and looked behind them. And our industry can't afford to wait or look behind us any longer. We need to move forward with new purpose, new ideas, and renewed determination as we embark on the challenges and opportunities that are going to be our future. It's our time to step up and play big because the game really is changing, and it's changing for the better. I need you to trust me. All right, so we've got a big program. I'm also going to add that we have scheduled today, as you have insisted upon with your emails to me, demanding that we address the changes in the industry that have really impacted a lot of people since the first of the year. So we are going to have a panel discussion, and I've invited somebody from NCPA, I've invited somebody from PSAO to come. Jason Wallace from HUD is going to join me, and we are going to have a very respectful, a quality, productive dialogue on how to move this industry forward. And you're going to be able to participate in that. So that's going to be later this afternoon. Right now, it is my pleasure to welcome back to the stage Ryan Estes. He was here last year, and he's the Chief Experience Officer in his own training organization. But Ryan is a leading expert on sales, effectiveness, leadership, and the future of work. and he was recently recognized by Meetings and Conventions magazine as one of the best speakers seen or heard. I can certainly